So we'll get started now. We're gonna focus on opening up the breath in today's practice. So quite often we think about expanding the breath by and through the inhalation, but what I really want us to focus on, which is most helpful and lends itself best towards really freeing the breath and releasing any holding patterns we might have, is to extend into the exhale. So we'll begin our first pose in a posture that will really support this breath inquiry, right? So with your bolster, you'll just set it up sort of behind you on the mat, you know, that you can still hear me as well when I go far away. Yeah? Good. And then if you have a small blanket, you're just gonna fold it up into a pillow shape. So you can either have it sort of higher or a little bit lower, and it's gonna be back behind you. So the idea here is that we have sort of transitions to support the body. And then you can come to sitting to the edge of your bolster and recline yourself back. And the pillow or the blanket should support the head so the shoulders can rest. You might lift up the part of your hips that's touching the ground and then place it down again. So you have this kind of sense of smoothness there. The hands can rest either by your sides or onto the body. Your legs can be extended or bent knee. Just for this one, I would encourage either straight legs or bent knee rather than having them out to the side, just so the body is in a more neutral position, so we can really focus on this work in the breathing. So allow yourself to settle here, welcoming yourself into the practice, allowing the body to drop down into the support of your props, the support of the ground, allowing the body to take on a heavy quality, so that you really feel as though even the muscles sort of relinquish any type of holding they have around the bones, around the structure of the body. So as well as heaviness, there's a kind of softness, letting go of tension. And just observing, at first, just an effortless kind of breath. So however that is for you this evening, where you feel the breath arise, how you feel the quality of the breath is smooth, or maybe there are parts of it that feel a little bit more static or jittery, whatever it is for you, whatever you're noticing. And then allow your awareness to come and onto the exhale. So the exhale becomes the primary focus of your attention. Watching the exhale all the way to the end. Notice that there is a pause at the end of the exhale. And then using the inhale like a lure for the mind, so that as you Feel that impulse of the inhaler rising. You allow your awareness to travel up the length of your inhale. And then as you breathe out the next time, see if you can just start to ever so slightly increase the length of your exhale. And again, just watching the exhale all the way to the end. And then again, as if your attention gets caught on the arising of the inhale, pulls you back in and up through the body. It fills. And then on your next exhale, again, just seeing if you can find a little bit of more space to go deeper into the exhale. And we'll continue on this kind of rhythm of extending the exhale. Now, if you like, you can count, or you can simply just observe as you find a little bit more length through it, watching it for a little bit longer as it leaves each time. You could begin to breathe out through the mouth if that feels easier. Almost like watching the breath gently leaving through the space in between the lips as it moves out in front of you towards the feet. If you start to feel as though it becomes forced or there's any feeling of rigidity or tension building as you try to extend the exhale, just pare it back once again. In this way, in this extension of the inhale, we begin to really open up the breath. Opening up the lungs' capacity to fill a little bit more by creating a little bit more space within the chest cavity, within the lungs. Really imagining that you're trying to empty out the lungs all the way. Right down to the very lowest part, lowest corner of the lung. After you've finished your next exhale, seeing if you can just return to your natural breath, an effortless breath. And again, just noticing the quality of your breath now. Noticing your body again, just doing a little scan from your toes to your knees, up to the hips, across the torso and the shoulders. So if the legs are bent, maybe extending them now, and if the knees are, or the legs are extended, you can maybe bend the knees just to change the positioning, or you might stay exactly as you are. And then we're going to take the hands so that the fingers rest on the front lower portion of the rib cage, and the thumbs will wrap around behind as though you're trying to almost reach around to the back of your rib cage. Allow yourself to place a small amount of pressure almost just like an intentional placement of the thumbs to the back of the rib cage. So you can almost feel into the structure of the bony structure of your rib cage, or maybe the musculature, and then allow the fingers to be really soft and light, like just resting, almost like you could feel the space in between the fingertips and the body. And then beginning the breath inquiry again. So as you breathe in, the rib cage expands into that gentle pressure of the thumbs and just ever so slightly lifts the fingers away. And then as you exhale, just allowing the hands to come in a little bit closer, so you feel that thumb pressure a little bit more into the side ribs. Put a light touch through the fingertips. And it's almost like like an accordion movement. You might sort of imagine that sort of gentle expansion and contraction, like of an accordion. We might do just about 10 rounds of that. Make sure to keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. And then once you've finished your 10, just allow the hands to lightly rest by the sides. We'll do another 2 rounds, but taking just a moment in between. Just breathe normally. Naturally. And then taking the hands back onto the rib cage. You can either go back to the same place, so you can move your hands down or up a little bit just to encourage awareness in a sort of different section of the rib cage. So again, gentle, light placement of the fingers onto the ribs at the front, and a light pressure of the thumb into the back of the rib cage. This time you could focus on really increasing the expansion of the ribs on the inhale and lengthening the exhale. So again, doing 10 rounds just like that. Should I check in with your shoulders and your face, that you're not sort of creating any unnecessary tension. And again, once you finish your 10 rounds, just allowing the hands to rest, shoulders to rest, and the breath to return to natural rhythm. We'll do one more round, so placing the hands in the same location or slightly changing the positioning. And again, once you've finished your 10 rounds, just gently allowing the hands to rest by your sides. Taking a moment for effortless breath. And then just allowing yourself to tip over onto your side, taking a moment in the side lying position. And then gently allowing your arms to assist you upright into seated. Good. Okay, so just move your bolster off to the side for a moment so you can take it out in front of you. I'm going to give you a couple options for this next one. So you can take your feet into Baddha Konasana, either further away from the body or closer in, depending on if you have them further away, you might feel as though the stretch is a little bit deeper into the outer hips. If you have them closer in, it might feel a little bit more into the inner thigh. And then we're going to take the bolster, and this is just going to help to weigh down the feet a little bit, creating a sense of groundedness through the feet. If you need your extra support from your brick, you might have it handy here as well. Or it may be that you're able to rest all the way down towards the bolster, which is fine as well. So just choosing your leg position, setting up the bolster first, and then either with your brick or just resting onto the bolster, allow your head to be supported in some way. So you can reach the bolster, that's perfect. And then with your hands, I quite like to sort of hug around the base of the bolster here. But you might like to have your hands maybe closer in, so your shoulders can relax down and back, or maybe onto the bolster. Just finding a comfortable position for your arms today. And then the focus here, the breath inquiry is moving into the back body. So there's a slight stretching of the fabric of the connective tissue that expands across the back. And again, if you can, really focus on the exhale being the main point of focus, maybe making it a little bit longer than the inhale. Keeping the shoulders soft, the jaw relaxed. Just coming back to the breath. Taking one more deep inhale. The skin on the back body gently expand and stretch. And then with the exhale, allow the body to start to gently press away and all the way back up. Just seated, nice and slow. Good. Okay, so just turning your bolster, well, if it's a round bolster, just keep it as it is. But if it's a rectangular bolster, you can sort of turn it over so it's a little bit narrower. And you're going to create a kind of a gripping action between the thighs. So we'll engage those inner thigh muscles to sort of stabilize you here. The feet will be quite active, so the toes are flexed and pointing towards you. And then we're going to take a twist. So take the arms all the way up, lengthening upwards through the side body. The ribs soften in, the breastbone slightly lifts. And then as you exhale, turning over to the right hand side. So that right hand goes behind you, left hand to the outer knee, and then keep squeezing in through the inner thigh. So you feel that engagement and this kind of active lift from your foundation of the sitting bones upwards through the spine. And then turn your head so that your right ear slightly lifts and you're looking over your right shoulder. Take another deep in breath here. So it's quite active, engaging through the legs. Then on your next inhale, lift the arms so the fingertips point out in the direction that the shoulders are kind of aiming in. Keep your left arm where it is. And then as you exhale, bring your right arm under your left, wrapping the arms around your shoulders. Taking a breath in here so you feel the breath almost move the hands outwards, expanding into the space between your shoulder blades. And as you exhale, hug in a little bit closer. So as you inhale, feel the breath sort of expand and stretch the space between the shoulder blades, but keeping the shoulders relaxed. And as you exhale, allow the body to sort of hug in a little bit more close. One more of these, breathing in, expanding, allowing your grip to soften. And exhale, gently compressing inwards, hugging inwards. Gently release the arms, take them upwards once again, reaching, reaching, reaching. And then as you exhale, twisting to your left-hand side this time. Right hand to the outer, left knee, left fingertips back behind you. So you can be up onto your fingertips, squeezing in through the inner thighs. Lift your left ear so you're looking over that left shoulder. Couple more breaths here. Try to feel the breath deep into the lower belly. Gently squeezing in and lifting at the same time. And then inhale, lift the arms away from the body, so you're extending out You exhale, crossing that left arm under and through, wrapping around so you gently hug the body once again. This time as you breathe in, lift the elbows. As you exhale, curling in, chin to chest. Inhale, lift elbows. Exhale, curling in, rounding as deeply as you can, stretching into the spine. You might curl sort of backwards rather. Inhale, lift. And last one, exhale to curl in. And then gently coming all the way back up through to center, releasing through the arms. Good. Nice. Okay. So just take a moment, you can move the bolster out of the way. Extend the legs out in front so your soles of the feet are on the ground. Use your hands behind you as a little bit of a support. The feet can be about hip distance apart. And then you're going to press into the ground. Feel the lift of the hips away from the ground. Looking forward, and as you exhale, slowly coming all the way back down. Making the lower down a little bit longer. So as you inhale, press down and lift up. And exhale slowly, almost like you're trying to extend that exhale again and slow down the movement as you release down to the ground. And one more of those, pressing, inhaling, lift, as though the in-breath makes you lighter. And then an exhale, slowly down and back to the earth. Good. Okay. So find your bolster once again. We'll take it behind. We're going to come into a reclined twist this time. So sitting with your right hip up against the bolster. It can be quite nice to take your blanket and bring it in between the thighs just to create a little bit of separation between the hips. And then I quite like to hook the bottom foot around the top ankle just to kind of feel a little bit more contained in the pose. But you can also keep the feet parallel to one another. And then from there, you'll just recline the body over the bolster. So just walking the body forward. And it's a gentle sort of twist. And you can make it a little bit deeper by turning the gaze towards the left-hand side, or you could keep the gaze towards the right. It's just a very subtle sort of twisting of the body. The hips are at a right angle. The knees, the torso is slightly turning down. So it's like the belly button is slightly directed downwards towards the bolster. And then again from here, just letting the breath really guide your practice. It's kind of anchoring of your awareness into the present moment. taking a few final breaths here and allowing those breaths to be a kind of preparation towards movement. And gently start to use the hands, a little bit of hand pressure downwards to push the ground away. So you can roll all the way over onto sitting once again. We'll do just a little movement in between. So rest the hands by the side and allow the knees to slowly knock to one side and then the other. Back to center. And then the next time they knock over to the left, just holding them there. Adjust your bolster, adjust your support for in between the thighs. And then begin to recline yourself over the bolster, turning the belly button in the direction of the bolster. Maybe head turns to the left, the right, forehead onto the bolster is also an option. It's nice. Hips feel supported and level. So that one hip is stacked over the other. Again, just bring awareness back to the breath and allowing the breath to slowly stir you in preparation for moving once again. And use the hands to gently press all the way back, up. Good. Okay, so for our next posture, you're going to take the bolster to the end of the mat this time and have your block up towards the top of the mat. So to begin, recline the body so that you can adjust the block to begin with, so that it's supporting the base of the skull, the occipital bone, so that there can be a sense of length to the back of the neck. And then you'll extend the legs, and you may need to adjust the bolster a little bit here so that the legs can be supported by the bolster, and the back of the knee crease sort of has a little bit of space so that all those little nerve endings at the back of the knee are sort of free, and there's no potential for irritation there. So it could be that you feel as though the legs sort of fall off to the side. If that's the case, you might like to use your blanket, and you can sort of wrap, almost like mummy wrap, your legs into your blanket so that that creates a supportive structure for the legs. And then you need to adjust the head once again so that sort of opposite ends of the body have this kind of slight elevation. The midsection of the body resting and surrendering down into the support of the ground. As the chin is coming into the chest, notice maybe how that affects the breath. Notice the calming effects that positioning has on the nervous system. And the sense of the legs almost floating on the support suspended above the ground by the bolster. Gently begin to lull the head from side to side. It's very, very slowly, almost as though the weight of your brain can be felt at the back of the head, gently tipping it from side to side. And then the next time you come to center, taking the hands and just moving the block out of the way so that you can rest the head onto the earth so that more of the body is in a neutral position. Again, just relaxing the jaw, the eyes into their sockets. And then it may be that you just want to stay as you are for the final few moments, or you may be able to simply change the orientation of your bolster so that you can use it as a support for under the knees. You might be able to do that with minimal effort so that you come into a supportive rest pose or shavasana. If you feel the need to just gather extra clothing, blankets, cushions. And allow yourself to relax and settle. Shifting and adjusting as much as necessary so that you find that absolute comfort. Allowing the whole body to rest now. Relaxing the thumb of your left finger, all the fingers on your left hand, palm of your left hand, the thumb of your right hand, all the fingers of your right hand gently resting. The left arm and shoulder, the right arm and shoulder, perfectly supported and settling. Big toe of your left foot, all the toes of your left foot, the whole of your left foot, relaxing, settling here. Big toe of your right foot, all the toes on your right foot, relaxing and letting go. whole of your right foot. Your left leg, front and back. Left thigh, front and back. Resting in the support that you've given it. Right front and back. Your lower leg. Thigh, front and back of your right leg. Whole of your right leg completely relaxed. The torso, all the internal organs resting. Your neck and throat, the jaw, the face, the root of the tongue. Completely relaxing. There is nothing to do. Allow the body to feel completely heavy. Sense that you are dropping and melting into the earth. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Taking a few deeper than normal inhales and fuller, more extended exhales. Feeling the breath just fill the whole of your body. Feeling that pulse and rhythm of the breath. Gently begin to stir the body back into awakeness. Just finding whatever movement you need, stretching or wiggling. And we'll slowly make our way back up to just a comfortable seat. Just taking a few more rounds of breath, just in this upright position, just as a moment to notice the quality of your breath now, after your dedicated focus and attention to it, to the expansion of it. Feel into the rib cage, front, sides, and back. And then gently gathering the palms to touch in front of the chest. And we bow forward as a symbol of gratitude, respect, and honor that you offer first towards yourself and then towards one another.